ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our presentation. And to make the first two presentations is the longtime chairman of the City Club of Chicago, the former president of the City Club of Chicago, and a man who knew Lincoln, Tom Roeser.
Thank you. It's my honor to give an award to Erie House, which is one of my favorite organizations, and I would ask Ricardo Estrada to come up here, please. The executive director of Erie House. He is this year's recipient of the City Club of Chicago's John McDermott Award for Distinguished Social Leadership. He's the executive director of Erie Neighborhood House, one of the nation's oldest and most respected community service agencies, where I teach as a volunteer. Before Erie House, he worked to strengthen Chicago's Latino communities, including major roles in Latino Youth, Inc., United Charities, and Chicago Commons. He was chosen as one of the 35 fellows in prestigious leadership, a Greater Chicago program, and was named one of the 40 under 40 by Crane Chicago Business. He holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from Loyola, a master's degree in policy and administration from the School of Social Service of the University of Chicago, and he holds an MBA with concentration in finance and marketing from the University of Illinois at Chicago. First of all, I'm going to give you a check. Give him a hand. And Dr. Green gives you this award. I also want to point out Nancy Vincent, who is here on the board, and her husband, Harry. Give them a hand. And now a few words.
It is an honor to be here among the recipients of these awards tonight. It's kind of awkward to receive individual accolades and awards because, as you know, that no individual award comes without a whole team of people behind you. And with me today, I have representatives from my staff and Rafael Ravelo, representatives from my board of directors, and Stephen Fox and Nancy Vincent, who is accompanied by Harry Vincent. And certainly, we couldn't do the work that we do at Erie House without the support of my wife, making sure that I'm at work on time and allowing me to stay home till 10 p.m. every night. So, honey, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Roeser, City Club of Chicago. Thank you.
Roberta Steiner, would you come up, please? Give her a hand. She is the 2005 recipient of the City Club of Chicago's President's Award for Distinguished Service. She is the executive director of Housing Opportunities and Maintenance for the Elderly. This organization provides Chicago's low-income seniors with a free citywide moving and relocation services, a furniture donation program, free shopping transportation services and upkeep, and repair services for elderly homeowners in Chicago. Before coming to HOME, she was the supervisor of vocational placement at Jewish Vocational Services. She has also worked at the Lambs, North Point Achievement Services, and North Chicago Veterans Hospital. She's a graduate of the University of Michigan and has also earned a master's degree in education from Northeastern Illinois University and married with 3 grown children. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you very much. It is indeed an honor to be here and to be recognized. Home is a small agency that's about 20 years old, and we serve the low-income elderly of Chicago, and I'm here on their behalf. Often people don't know of our organization. I appreciate you recognizing the work that we're doing. Thank you so much.
And now back to that witty MC, Dr. Paul Green. Give him a hand.
As we move along, I think it's just a quick aside. The award that was given to Ricardo in memory of John McDermott. John McDermott was a longtime member of this organization, and any person who could basically keep Roeser and Green from killing each other at City Club meetings truly deserves to have some kind of award named after him. So that's a great honor that you have, Ricardo. A name of John McDermott is someone that we all revere very much. The next award will be to another person who this City Club has honored. That's the Steve Neal Award for Excellence in Journalism. Will Mark Brown please come up to the stage? As Mark is working his way up here, it's important to realize that the fact that he married a girl from the south suburbs had nothing to do with this award. As you could read in your program about Mark's background, the most important thing in this city is to keep journalism alive with columns that have interest, that have bite, and most importantly are informative. And Mark has done all of that and then some. And obviously working under the leadership of John Cruikshank, sometimes I know there could be problems, but nevertheless he has persevered. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a great round of applause to Mark Brown, the winner of the Steve Neal Award for Excellence in Journalism.
As most of you know, I was a colleague of Steve Neal at the Sun-Times. The more that I do this job, I appreciate what he did, how he made it look easy, how he could always write clearly, how he never did what I did yesterday, which was to go home sick. Today's an especially good day to win the Steve Neal Award because, as most of you know, the Abraham Lincoln Library and Museum was dedicated today in Springfield. Depending on how you cut it, Steve either was the person most responsible for seeing that it got done or seeing that at least it got done right. I had the pleasure of visiting the museum last week. It's a great place. I recommend everybody, make that trip to Springfield. You just will be amazed at what a nice museum that is. And when you're there, make sure you slip over to the library. I got over there, and there's the Steve Neal reading room. You go in the Steve Neal reading room, and there's a big photo of Steve on the wall. And there's the Steve Neal collection, which looks suspiciously like the big pile of books that Steve had in his office because you couldn't even walk in the door. And of course, to get to the Steve Neal reading room, first you have to go by the cornerstone of the building that's dedicated to the indicted former governor of Illinois, which is why it's such a great job that I have at the Chicago Sun-Times. Thank you.
The next award will go to Reverend Willie Barrow, the Distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award. Ms. Barrow, make your way. Round of applause for Ms. Barrow. As you read in the program, the word distinguished really fits Ms. Barrow's life story. From someone who is getting somewhat, shall we say, how can I say this? A baby boomer with age, to stay in the game as long as Ms. Barrow has and keep fighting for what she believes is truly remarkable, especially in this city. So on behalf of the City Club of Chicago, I am highly honored to give Ms. Reverend Willie T. Barrow the Distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award. Ms. Barrow?
I certainly do. I certainly do like that big applause. Give me another one. On the behalf of the Rainbow Push organization, the Vernon Park Church of God, where I serve as the Minister of Justice, and also my family, my entire family, the man I was married to for 57 years, I deserve an award just for that. Give me another big hand. And I just wrote a book on, I'm the new author, and I will be leaving here this week, going to Atlanta, Georgia with CNN with the Trumpet Award. I just wrote a book on how to get married and stay married. Give me another hand. Thank you for this wonderful award.
Very heavy.
Okay.
Okay. The award for excellence in journalism goes to Phil Ponce from Channel 11. For someone who's been on the program, in fact, goes back on that program a long time, it's always fun to be with Phil. And if you have been any part of those WTTW City Club debates, you recognize Phil from the kind of magic moment he created for the City Club at the Democratic debate for U.S. Senate last election. It was in the true City Club tradition. It was brilliant, and we're very proud to have Phil with us. So, Phil, on behalf of the City Club of Chicago, it's our honor to give you the Award for Excellence in Journalism. Big round of applause for Phil Ponce.
Thank you very much. I'm honored and happy to accept this award on behalf of the entire Chicago Tonight team. We at Chicago Tonight are really fortunate to have management that believes in news analysis, public affairs, political debates. So we're lucky to be there. And when I say we, I mean the news team. I have wonderful colleagues, particularly the people who work on the news segments, the people who call many of you in this audience, sometimes on a weekly basis, to be guests on our program. So I thank you. It is an honor. One last thing, if I may, an editor's note. As I looked at the program, my apologies that Channel 11 sent the City Club not only an old resume, but I didn't know they had my communion picture still on file. That's always fun to see. But one of the things, you know, people look at that picture and say, "Who does he think he's kidding?" One of the things that my resume does not mention, and I thought of it when Father Garanzini gave that wonderful invocation, is my high honor last year to have received an honorary degree from Loyola University, Chicago. So again, an editor's note. But thank you very much, City Club. I appreciate the partnership that you've made with Channel 11. Thank you so much.
It's now that magic time of the evening. Straighten your ties, sit up strong in the chair, and who knows, Jay Doherty may mention your name. It is my pleasure to introduce the go-to guy of the City Club of Chicago, the man who's turned this organization from a nice Monday morning meeting with a lot of yelling to the most important civic organization, certainly as public policy discussions go, in the city of Chicago, if not the entire Midwest. Our leader, my boss, Jay Doherty.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Chairman Rostenkowski got up here one day and said to me, "Jay, if you mention their name, they will join." So we follow the economic rules of the chairman of Ways and Means for 38 years. Before I introduce our distinguished speaker, I did want to mention some special friends of the City Club who are with us. First of all, I wanted to thank our dinner chairman, the president of CTE Engineers, 10 years in a row, 10 sellouts. Thank you so much, Bob Fisher. Thank you, Bob, very, very much. To Father Garanzini, President of Loyola, thank you so much for being a great supporter, and thank you for that wonderful invocation this evening. Father Garanzini, thank you. And to my colleagues, our chairman, Tom Roeser, and Director of Programming, Paul Green, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. This City Club member is a Chicagoan. He and his family have been among the greatest supporters of the city of Chicago. With the help of Chicagoans, his family led the charge in beating back prejudice and putting a Catholic in the White House. Guided by his family's leadership, the Special Olympics was founded here at Soldier Field and now is present in over 175 countries around the world. He has served as chairman of the Convention and Tourism Bureau and chairman of the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository. Chris Kennedy and his wife Sheila. Chris, Sheila, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And when it comes to government and politics, and those of us who are on the public side or the private side, really the role model for most of us, or certainly for me, is someone who served 8 years as chief of staff to Mayor Richard J. Daley, 2 years in the same capacity for Mayor Michael Bolandic, and then 22 years leading the Board of Trade, 18 as president. Tom Donovan and his wife Vita. Tom, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Most of the people in this room read 2, 3, 4, some maybe 5 newspapers a day. But I will bet that the vast majority of those people who read newspapers read this one first. He's the publisher of the Chicago Sun-Times, John Cruikshank. John, thank you so much for being with us. And the new columnist for the Bright One, his wife, Jennifer Hunter. Jennifer, thank you for being with us. He won the Steve Neal Award for Excellence in Journalism last year. He's a member of the Chicagoland Journalism Hall of Fame. Bernie Judge, Bernie and his wife Kimba. Bernie, thanks for being with us. The most powerful columnist in the state of Illinois, the Chicago Sun-Times, Michael Sneed. Michael, thank you for being with us. The leading reformer on the Cook County Board, Larry Sufferton, Commissioner, and his wife, Gloria Calesi. Thank you so much. Chairman of Metra, Jeff Ladd, and his wife, Kathy. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. Someone mentioned to me he's not only the commissioner of the Department of Transportation for the state of Illinois, but according to the news, he's also looking over Our Lady of the Viaduct. Secretary Tim Martin. Mr. Secretary, where are you? Thank you for being with us. And joining him at that table from Planning and Development, David Wells and his wife Janice. David, thank you so much. Commissioner, Department of Aviation, John Robertson. Commish, where are you? Thank you so much for joining us today. The chairman of the Illinois State Toll Highway Authority, John Matola. John, thank you so much for joining us today. The one person in this room who could tell you whether Hillary Rodham Clinton is running for president is with the tollway, our good friend Brian McPartland. Brian, where are you? Tell us. Brian, when it comes to business and charitable and civic leadership, in my opinion, he's second to none, Jack George. Jack, thank you so much. And his wife, Mary Jo. Mary Jo, thank you. Chairperson, Chicago Transit Authority, Carol Brown. Carol, thank you so much for being with us. Yeah. One of the governor's best appointments, Director of Revenue, State of Illinois, Brian Hamer. Brian, thanks for joining us. She was one of the best appointments that President Clinton ever made. She was a special assistant, Lynn Cutler, former DNC co-chair. Lynn, stand up. Thank you for joining us. City Treasurer, Judy Rice, Loyola graduate. Judy, where are you? Thank you for joining us. Also, Commissioner, Department of Health, Loyola graduate, Dr. John Wilhelm. Doctor, thank you. The chairman of McCormick Place, Ted Tetzlaff. Ted, thank you for being with us. Commissioner, Department of Aviation or Environment, Marcia Jimenez. Marcia, Commissioner? There, thank you. Commissioner of General Services, Michi Pena. Commissioner, thank you for being with us. John Plesbert, General Services. John, stand up. They got to see you. Budget Director, John Harris and his wife Patty. John, stand up. Thank you. City of Chicago. Central Management Services, Brian Chapman, the Chief of Staff, and Paul Campbell, the Director. Where are you? There we go. Paul, thank you very much for being with us. Chairman, St. Patrick's South Side Parade, Bill Gaynor. Sir William, stand up. Director, O'Hare Modernization Program, Rosie Andolino. Rosie and her husband, Mark Ferry. Mark. City Controller, Tariq Malhans and his wife, Cynthia. Tariq, where are you? Thank you so much for joining us. One of the classiest people ever to serve in public life. He was an alderman, Cook County Commissioner, Chuck Bernardini. Chuck, where are you? Thanks. Cook County Chief Financial Officer, Tom Glazer. Thomas, thank you. City Chief Financial Officer, Dana Levinson, and his wife, Christine. Our 2005 Citizen of the Year is the Executive Director of the Illinois Toll Highway Authority. The tollway serves 1.3 million customers every day. The governor was very direct when he appointed our guest speaker, and I quote, "Reform the Illinois tollway and restore public confidence in the system," unquote. Our guest today is well on his way. He is a triple rambler. He has a bachelor's, an MBA, and a law degree from Loyola University. He is a regent at Loyola University and a key player in the new Loyola Museum of Art, located just around the corner at Pearson and Chicago Avenues. He is vice president of the Irish Fellowship Club of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, start walking up, Your Honor. I am proud to introduce the 2005 Citizen of the Year for the City Club of Chicago, the Executive Director of the Illinois Toll Highway Authority, Jack Hartman. Jack. All yours. Have some fun. Have some fun.
Thank you, Jay. Jay. The one person Jay forgot to introduce was his wonderful wife, Colleen. Oh, you didn't forget? Thank you for the City Club for this prestigious honor. I'm very, very humbled. It's been a wild week putting together this speech and trying to figure out what to say. And I'd like to thank Jay for his fine words and Chairman Burke earlier this evening for his fine words also. I'd also like to acknowledge Father Garanzini, who is the president of the only university in Illinois to win a national basketball championship. It happened in 1963, and we'll keep continuing to talk about this, and probably for another 50 years, but we'll take it as long as we can. With 3 degrees from Loyola, I have many fond memories of my days there, and I'm honored that Father Garanzini could give the invocation tonight, and he's truly leading a resurgence at Loyola and making it back into the great Jesuit institution it once was, and it's fabulous. I'm also privileged to follow in the footsteps of people who've won this award, such as the Honorable Dennis Hastert, Speaker of the House. Those are very big shoes to fill. Illinois Speaker Michael Madigan, and John Rowe, the CEO of Exelon Corporation. I've been asked to speak to you tonight about what citizenship means to me. Did you know that if you Google the word citizen, you get over 20 million hits, results on that? And because of the positive connotation of the word, every publication and organization works it into their name somehow. They're hoping that the public will associate them with the virtues of good citizenship. But what does it truly mean to be a good citizen? As I was preparing these remarks, I came across an explanation that seems to capture it. It's on a website called timeforcitizenship.com. A junior high class said, good citizens join organizations that help other people. Pretty simple. And if ever an organization fit that, it's the City Club of Chicago. For over a century, it has tirelessly promoted civic responsibility. It provides a nonpartisan venue for discussing issues that matter to local citizens. And I enjoy going to luncheons to find out what is happening in the civic community, especially since I'm out in Downers Grove now, so anything to get downtown helps me. And I still enjoy it when Jay announces my name, just like he does with everybody else. And the way to do that is to get a membership, become a sponsor, get involved, do something in the world, and Jay will recognize you. Tonight, I'm pleased to share the stage with 5 individuals who make us all proud to call Chicago home. The Reverend Willie Barrow, who epitomizes the phrase social and spiritual activist. Her hard work on behalf of the underprivileged has left an indelible mark on this city, so it's a pleasure just hearing everything you've done. Sometimes columnist Mark Brown, whose writing captures the pulse of the Windy City, very talented and hardworking guy, always goes the extra mile for the story. A couple of years ago, he was trying to track me down. He finally caught me coaching third base on my son's Little League team and did the interview while I'm yelling, run, stop, Billy, score, everything else. And I thank him for that day. It was very patient of him to do that and get the right story out. Fellow Loyola alum Ricardo Estrada, who's been honored for his commitment to local and international community service. A new Loyola alum, which we didn't even know about until tonight, Phil Ponce, whose knowledge, warmth, and love of the city comes through in his open-minded approach to issues. I remember the night we announced our congestion relief plan, and John Matola and I went to Channel 11, and it was a great, engaging show, and it was probably one of the highlights of our year, doing that with you, Phil. And Roberta Steiner, who's deeply admired for her dedication to the often overlooked segments of the population, such as refugees and the elderly. Like many of these honorees, I learned the importance of citizenship at an early age. Those valuable lessons continue to inspire me today. My parents have always been my first and best role models. They gave me advice that I pass on to my son Jay and my daughter Holly. I actually made them listen to the speech last night, which was pretty entertaining for them. My son said he liked about a quarter of it and was bored by the rest, so we'll see how it goes. The basic premise my parents taught me was try and make the world a better place than you found it. And my father John is here, and I've had his constant love and support. And my mother Flo is up in heaven watching down, and I presume she was first in line to greet the old Pope, and ask him to watch over me. And it's important for me. My mother would have loved to have been here. She loved these kind of events. She loved being out with people, and I'm just sad she can't be here tonight. I'd also like to thank my brother Mark, my sisters Denise, Sue, Marybeth, for putting up with me in what were some pretty wild, formative years. I probably took a lot more of our parents' time than all four of them put together, so sorry about that, but that's life. After my family, some of my most early positive influence were with priests. When I was in second grade at St. Thomas More, I wanted to be like the charismatic leaders down there. And actually, my mother told me that the boss of all priests is the cardinal. So I said, that's the job for me. And then she broke the bad news to me that it was harder to become pope than it was to become mayor. And that was when Richard J. Daley was mayor. And he was my idol. And they're honoring him tomorrow night for his 50th anniversary of becoming mayor. And when you have to choose between Cardinal or Mayor Daley and try and figure that out, I thought becoming a lawyer was an easier task. As I matured, I discovered a fundamental aspect of citizenship, and it's accountability, the willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. And this is a valuable lesson that when Governor Blagojevich called me up and said he wanted me to reform the tollway, it was a great challenge, and I wanted to do it. And I learned that responsibility by working my way through high school, working my way through college at Loyola, and from my Teamster days of driving a pop truck to being a janitor to being a night watchman. Those kind of jobs make you want to go out to college and get a better career. It's hard work, but it's meaningful, and it's the kind of thing that makes you think about what you want to do in this world. So for me, that was law school. When I was at Loyola studying business and law, the lessons of citizenship were reinforced by several mentors. These individuals really took to heart the university's mission, which is to prepare students to live extraordinary lives. They taught me the importance of values-based leadership, commitment to excellence, and service that promotes justice. One such individual is Father Raymond Baumhart, who's sitting right over here with Father Garanzini. He's past president of Loyola for 23 years, helped build the medical center, helped build the downtown campus, helped expand everything up at Lakeshore, and he was a pioneer in the field of ethics. He was the first to include ethics in the core curriculum at Loyola Business School. This move was significant at a time when even the most lauded business schools largely ignored the topic. Loyola School of Business started teaching ethics way back in 1923 when Father Baumhart, actually the year you were born. I've always believed that Catholic universities taught it first and still teach it best, and no one teaches ethics as well as Catholic universities. Another key influence during my college days was one of my mentors and a colleague of Father Baumhart's, Father Tom McMahon. Father Tom taught ethics, wrote several books on ethics, and was director of the Loyola Center for Values in Business. He gave me the grounding I needed to enter the business world. He counseled me during and after law school. I used to walk across the street to his office and sit there for 2 or 3 hours and go through what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was go out and make a lot of money, and what he wanted me to do was try and make a difference. And I guess he won. I'll have to figure out the first part later. I learned from him because every day without fail, he practiced what he preached. And Loyola University lost a model citizen last November when he died at the age of 76. And my admiration for leaders like Father Tom and Father Baumhart inspired me to serve as vice president of the student government at Loyola, president of my business fraternity, found both the Irish Club and the College Democrats at Loyola, and now I'm a member of the Board of Regents, and I'm still very involved at Loyola because I love everything the school stands for, and I love working with Father Garanzini to better the school, and the only thing I could ask you is keep that basketball team moving because we have to catch up to U of I, and we can't keep holding on to 63 forever. It was no coincidence that many of my closest friends were also deeply involved in charitable organizations. The most important person that I met doing an organization was my wife, Cece, who's sitting at the table. If you could stand up, Cece. I guess she's even more reserved than Colleen. I met Cece while she was organizing a cystic fibrosis event. She was organizing it because her friend had cystic fibrosis. I was there to be a bachelor in auction and, heart meat for women, I guess. No, she didn't buy me But later on, I think she was too cheap that night, but later on she made a big investment in me and in time and effort and helping me become a better person. And thank you, Cece, for that unwavering support. "18 years ago, we set a precedent at the world's largest block party at Old St. Pat's when I proposed to her on stage. And since then, more than 65 couples have done it. It's been on Oprah. We were actually on Oprah. Oprah's feeling Cece's belly when she was pregnant with Jay. And it's just a beautiful event down there, too. And romance aside, the world's largest block party, which I co-founded with Father Jack Wall and other people who are here, Terry Toohey, Mark Maloney, Pat Harney, were also there, and they're here tonight. It's raised millions for the restoration and preservation of an important Chicago landmark. And we were there when there were 4 parishioners at Old St. Pat's, and now you can't get into the church on Sunday. So that makes us all very proud. I'm not alone in these kind of endeavors. Our chairman, John Matola, who's here tonight, continues to inspire me with his work with Christopher House, which has been in operation almost 100 years. And they provide assistance to children and their families in need. And that's also important. From my days as an executive vice president at the CTA and as deputy commissioner at O'Hare Airport, I gained a lot of experience in how to be a trusted caretaker of the public's resources. After 14 years in government, I truly believe that next to service to God, there is no greater calling than public service. There's no better way to help your fellow man and get things done. From the executive staff to the employees on the front line of customer service, I have had the privilege of working with the best and brightest team in government at the Tollway, and I would like them all to stand up. We have a couple tables of people here, and stand up and be recognized. These people can make more money in the private sector, trust me on that. Many of us took pay cuts to come to the Tollway. And we were able to attract these talented individuals because the governor's commitment to run the Tollway like a business and not like a governmental agency with their bureaucracy. And he's given us a free hand to go out and make the changes we've done to make the reform not only stand now, but hopefully stand for the next 20 years. Because hopefully people won't let it go back to the state it was in. People are excited to be able to turn around an agency with such a checkered past. And my own pastor came up to me at Mass and said, I hope you realize some people have gone to jail over there, and you better not do that at our church. And then I asked Tim Martin, who's in the same parish, I said, did he give you the same speech, Tim? He did. So that was good. I thought it was just a Tollway thing. But it's important to think about that we had to change a whole mindset over there, and we've accomplished many of the goals, almost all the goals we gave the governor 2 years ago. We just got to build it now. When the governor appointed me as executive director of the Tollway in 2003, I went to Mayor Daley to get some sage advice. And he counseled me, do the right thing for the right reason. You'll know that. You've been in government long enough. Just understand that basic premise, and you'll do well. He then also pulled out a list of things that I had to improve on the Tollway, one of them being, adding an extra lane going out on 90 to make sure people weren't backed up. And he's always got a list, which is the best thing we all understand about the mayor. So it's no surprise that this week Time Magazine named him one of the 5 best big city mayors, responsible for turning a graying hub into a vibrant boomtown. And we all understand that. I'd like to thank Mayor Daley and Governor Blagojevich for teaching me many valuable lessons on public service and good citizenship. And I believe we're taking that to the Tollway, and we're showing it to Tollway patrons. We're focused on the ABCs of reform, increasing accountability, implementing business efficiencies, and improving customer service. When I started saying the word customer service, that phrase at the Tollway, Art Philp told me, we did a customer service training 3 years ago. We don't need any of that. And I said, you know what? We do, and we need it every day, and we need to reinforce it. And that's why we sent some of the people, all the managers, into the booth to learn what it was like out there and figure out better ways to improve the Tollway. We wanted to show customers that we value their time and we can be trusted with their money to rebuild the Tollway. The Tollway has made great strides toward building this trust in a short period of time. First thing we did was put our financial house in order. We knew that the only way to overcome the tarnished image we had was to throw open the doors and become more transparent. Most importantly, we knew we had to communicate our reform agenda to the community. To do this, we adopted the best practices, not just from toll roads, not from government, but from all different kinds of industries to find out who does what best and who values the customer, both internal and external, the best. And we tried to emulate those companies. We sought input from our customers, communities, businesses, state and local officials. Even our longtime critics, we let them in the front door, and then they were stunned that we wanted to know their opinion on how to improve the tollway. It just never happened. They said we used to get locked out of the building, they would trick us, they would do whatever else not to let us in. I'm like, there's nothing to hide. It's open. We post everything on the web, all of our contracts, all of our bulletins, everything we do is posted on the web. I have nothing to hide, so come in and take your best shot. We put these ideas in our congestion relief plan, which was open roads for a faster future. We held 12 public meetings. We didn't hold them all in one day like they did. We held them over 2 weeks. We had over 1,400 people. And I think it was about 7 or 8 to 1 in favor of the tollway plan because we'd planned it out well, we'd communicated it well, and we showed people we could handle their money the proper way. We worked aggressively to share the benefits of the plan with the media. As a result, we received 15 positive editorials on our reform agenda and on the congestion relief plan. And these are the same newspapers that said, we don't trust the tollway with the money to rebuild it. We're now focused on implementing open roads, the open roads plan, which will benefit the 2.1 million iPass users. Now the best part about this is, after I gave a speech last time, Jay Doherty, who doesn't even own a car, went out and bought an iPass. So if you ever want free tolls, invite Jay to wherever you're going, and he'll bring his iPass in his briefcase, and it's free for that day. So what we're doing is we have 4 key components. We're going to rebuild 90% of the system, so almost the entire system will be rebuilt. And we're widening 60% of the roads in a 6-county area, so that's the congestion relief. We're converting 20 mainline barrier plazas where you have to stop and the trucks have to stop and sit in line all day long. Trucks and cars will be going 55 miles an hour through the plaza as if it never existed. But the important part is we'll still be collecting their money, in case any rating agencies are here. We're also building 355 South extension to Will County. Larry Walsh from Will County is here today, and the promises started 40 years ago. We're implementing it now, Larry, and it'll be done in 3 years. The direct benefit of this $5.5 billion congestion relief plan is simple. It will improve the quality of life for the citizens of Illinois. It will pump $20 billion into the economy, create over 250,000 jobs, and allow customers to spend less time on the road and more time with their family and friends. In fact, we estimate that an iPass user who commutes daily through the open road toll lanes could save up to half an hour a day. That means you get back 2 weeks of your life. This is actually the one part of the speech my son liked. He goes, you get 2 weeks, Daddy, 14 days back? Think of anybody who can give you 14 days of your time back to you to use. And hopefully use wisely. Spend it with your children. Don't spend it 2 more weeks at work. The future of the tollway looks bright for 2005 and beyond. As we implement our construction projects in the open roads plan, we're committed to providing the highest level of customer service. We go through this every day with the engineers and make sure that all of our consultants and everybody else knows if you're doing something to a customer in that lane, there better be an explanation. In all democracies, sharing of the information is crucial for responsible government and citizenship. The same applies to the tollway. With the road work, we're taking several ways to lessen the pain. We've added over 100 interim iPass-only lanes since 2003 to make it easier. We've installed, and the next one is a hallmark of John Mottola, our chairman, of communicating to the customer. We've installed over 33 big over-the-road signs to display construction and traffic information. And for you Illini fans, we did put Go Illini the night of the big game. We are directly communicating with customers through our website, illinoistollway.com, and through customized email alerts that you can wake up in the morning and Larry Word from NBC5, are you here, Larry? Are you still here? NBC5 will alert you in the morning, alert you on the way home at night, and tell you what your commute looks like on either IDOT or tollway roads. Think about that. We're also trying to respond to incidents during construction and keep them moved off. So rest assured the tollway is still being steered by its key directive to keep the reform agenda moving. Personally, it's extremely fulfilling to me to be able to put into practice all the lessons I've learned throughout life about citizenship. I'm excited to see how far the tollway has traveled in such a short time and gratified to know that we're making a real difference in the lives of our customers. The reforms we've made will permanently change the way the tollway operates and provide a model for how government should work, open and accountable to all the citizens it serves. It's an easy statement. Citizenship goes beyond government. It must be a part of each and every person's life every day. Citizenship is not a spectator sport. It's something you've got to get involved in. It calls each of us to do our part, to keep our neighborhoods safe, keep our city clean. That goes from reporting graffiti and potholes to 311, to calling star 99 to help drivers in need, to volunteering at your charity or your local church. Like one of my neighbors, Gloria Moranas. I was talking to her last night and it hit me. She volunteers for every single cause in our neighborhood. You know, Misericordia Candy Days, Catholic Charities, Earth Day cleanup this weekend. St. Mary of the Woods, she's on 4 or 5 different committees while working full time. We must all do our part to be like Gloria. I know many of you heed this call every day, and I encourage, oh, go on, sorry. I know many of you heed this call, and I encourage you to keep it up. We must continue to ensure that government works for all the people. With the help of another Google search, I found a quote from a noted anthropologist, Margaret Mead, that captures the ideas I've been talking about today. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Thank you. I'm truly honored to be here tonight.
Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Jack, hold on to this.
I hope you don't drop that, Jay.
Thank you, everyone. If you can imagine this, I literally did forget 4 friends, and I have to acknowledge. Commissioner of Consumer Services, Norma Reyes. Commissioner. DuPage County Chairman, Bob Schillerstrom. Bob. Will County Executive, Larry Walsh. CIO for the Chicago Public Schools, Bob Runcie. Bob, stand up. And the Chairman of City Colleges, Jim Tyree. Thank you. Another round of applause for Jack Hartman, please. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.